Hello, comic book community. This is NammaN, and I have a fellow collector as a guest today. Fellow co-host right now, Cantonese comic kid Jeff and
What's going on?
Otaku. So, hey, each one of you guys, start introducing yourself. Start with the Jeff.
What's going on, guys? It's the Cantonese Comic Kid, aka Jeff, or aka the Cantonese Playboy, like some people like to call me now, because of the
Playboy.
dippy stuff. So, what's going on, guys? Here with NammaN and Otaku. We're gonna be talking to E today about a little bit of everything. So, enjoy the show, guys.
Yeah, and I want to just thank Jeff for popping in tonight. And we're probably gonna have you on at some point this month as well, right? Are we scheduled?
But it's good. No, we haven't scheduled him, but we will after
Okay.
we fit all those big name artists in there.
Yeah.
Then
I'm a little guy.
Little guy we do later.
But we got a really fun show tonight. Eman is our featured guest, and we'll get into it. We're gonna talk and get to know him. So yeah, Hyung, why don't you go ahead and pop him in?
All right, I'm gonna pop in the Eman. That was intro, I guess. Hey, Eman, what's up?
Make him big.
Yeah. He will be big.
What's up? Whoa! Don't make me big. Like, this is a family show, you guys. Please, let's try to keep it PG-13. All right.
Yeah, this is after 11, so we're good.
Don't worry, we don't got red today. Well, we're all right.
Well, thank you guys so much for having me tonight for Asian Pacific Islander Month. It's an honor that you guys thought about me, and I do appreciate it. Thank you guys very much for letting me come on and nerd out.
Yeah, we really recognize you as one of the really forefront community members on YouTube, and I just want you to kind of introduce yourself to the audience for those who haven't maybe caught your channel yet, and just let them know what your channel is all about.
No problem, you guys. My name is Eman. I come from the C-List Villains podcast. That's a team show that I do with some of my friends where we talk about pop culture, comic books, movies, and more. I have been collecting on and off again since about 91. And I collect a lot of what I call mid-dependent books, not quite indie books, but not, big too. I'm a big, as you guys can see, I'm a big Transformers fan, G1 fan from the get-go. I have Optimus Prime tattooed on my arm. I got him over here hanging with me. That's my boy. And to be funny with you, that's really my fandom. Comic books I really enjoy, but Transformers I probably enjoy a whole lot more. And I'm also a gamer. I'm a dad. There's just a lot going on in my life. But that's kind of me in a very, very, very small nutshell right there.
All right.
Awesome. Yeah.
Eman, I prepared a beer for the night. I'm gonna open it while.
You know what? I'm gonna join you.
I'm gonna have share drinks.
I'm gonna go ahead and crack one myself. If that's okay.
Sapporo. Cheers, guys. Cheers.
Cheers, my friends.
Cheers.
So while you're drinking, one special thing about this year's AAPI Heritage Month that I feel privileged is that I got to meet and get to know Eman for the first time because he graciously joined our as co-host of this month. He brought a lot of guests in, and it's just been a lot of fun. I think when Hyung and I were doing it, it was just kind of like the two of us. It wasn't as inclusive as we wanted it to be, but now we've got like so many members of the community just hopping in and hopping on, and that's what I really appreciate. So thank you, Eman.
Thank you.
I concur. Let me go ahead before we start with the Eman. Let me go ahead and quickly say hi to the chat. We do have a few people that's trickled in. Hey, GT Comics, thanks for hanging in there. I hope you
Oh,
stay
we got a
here.
lot of people there. All right.
Miss Ho, how are you?
So,
And there's a
Sleepy.
Sleepy. How are you,
Sleepy.
sir? Damien. Hey,
And
there's
our
our
honorary
fellow
member.
co-host.
Oh,
K-
my
K-pop.
my
Hair
hair
wars.
nemesis.
Oh,
My
your hair
hair
nemesis.
nemesis.
I'm sorry, I'm not gonna show that the other K-pop video because it does have copyright stuff on it. But and then Sleepy think you're big hair guy, so hair nemesis, hashtag hair nemesis.
Hair nemesis.
Hey guys, staying in the chat tonight, but stick around and meet some homies of mine tonight. Oh, cool.
Oh,
So,
that's her
yeah.
Twitter account. Oh, what's up, Katie? Thanks
sweet.
for even popping in on that Twitter. Or X.
Okay.
It's no longer Twitter. X.
Yeah.
My-
All right. So the rest of it is Eman. Eman, you know
Even
Eman.
hair wars.
Eman
The
spamming
90s.
his hashtag.
And
So
then,
I
90s.
think like when we message like through the through StreamYard, and we have all these channels connected. Like I text one time and I think it blasted everyone's channel, so that's why it's like all like 5 different.
Yeah.
I know. I'm giving y'all time.
Yeah. What's going on,
I'm
90s?
not
the
trying to say
MMC.
anything.
So yes, we're gonna get into it now. It's AAPI Heritage Month, so I do want to touch on your Asian heritage, and I'm just gonna let you kind of talk to your background and your identity basically.
Yeah, no problem. Actually, for those who don't know, I'm actually half Filipino and half Mexican. Dad is Filipino, mom is Mexican, and I
Okay,
grew up.
stop.
Uh-oh.
We're leaving now. We gotta go. It's Mexican guy.
Wait, Mexican? No, we can't do this right now.
Well, I thought he was full Mexican. I didn't know he was Filipino.
And I'm like, why are you asking me to come? I'm Mexican. What's the deal? All right. Mexicans are the Filipinos of North America. So no, yeah. But like, so I'm half Mexican, I'm half Filipino. I know how to speak Spanish. I know some words in Tagalog. I know all of the bad words and the food in Tagalog and Filipino. And growing up as a Mexican Filipino in San Jose, I really couldn't figure out what my identity was for a long time. The schools that I went to in my elementary school, it was a lot of Vietnamese and a lot of Latinos and I have to say Latinos now because I'm finding out that it's not just Mexicans. We have Salvadorians, Hondurans, there's so many different types of Latinos that are, coming up. I grew up around that as far as my childhood goes. But even then, in elementary school, you don't think about things like that. You don't think about, who's brown, who's black. You just like, oh, cool, you're another kid who wants to play tag, So like, I didn't even get asked that question of like, what's your nationality until I was like in 4th grade. And even then I was like, I don't even know what you're talking about. What does that mean? So I had to ask my parents, I'm like, what does that mean? And they're like, oh, they just want to know, what's your background? You tell them you're Mexican Filipino. I'm like, but I was born in America, like, aren't I American? And they go, well, technically, yeah, but what they're trying to figure out is what your race is. I'm like, oh, yeah, I already know that. So I've always known that I was half Mexican, half Filipino. I've always known that dad was from the Philippines, mom was from Mexico. Manila's a big city, Mexico City is a big city. So like there was a lot of similarities with both countries, especially since Spain invaded both and yada yada yada. You guys know exactly what went on there. So with the family, on my Mexican side, it's Junior, what are you? Are you more Mexican or are you more Filipino? I'm like, it's a dumb question. I'm equal, No. But tell me, they're always trying to egg it on, right?
Yeah. They would say, you're more Mexican. You're more Mexican.
But you look more Filipino, but you speak Spanish, I'm like, I'm 100% Mexican. I'm 100% Filipino. How about we just leave it at that right there, because I'm both right there. I
So
can
you're
represent
200%
both.
of each. Well, 100% of this and 100% of that.
Yeah. And then they go, well, that doesn't make, the math isn't mathing. I'm like, well, just look at it like that, I can come out here and hang out with the Mexican side and be Mexican and eat everything and speak with you guys. And I can hang out with my Filipino side and do the same thing. So as time went on, right? When Pacquiao was a big thing, right? Pacquiao was a huge thing in the early 2000s, and so my Mexican side, they would always ask, hey, so who are you going for? Pacquiao or the Mexicans? Pacquiao and Marquez, Pacquiao and Barrera, and Pacquiao. I'm like, and I
That's
told
tough.
them, I told them all. I know it wasn't tough for me. I told them all, I'm like, oh, I'm going for Pacquiao. And they go, I knew it because you're more Filipino. I'm like, no, because I grew up with you guys watching Julio Cesar Chavez. Julio Cesar Chavez is one of the greatest boxers of all time. And even I knew this as a kid. I was a fan, and every time there was a fight, Dad always had it. Every time there was a fight, we would all go watch it together. And I was all about Julio Cesar Chavez, like hands down. Like no one can beat him. Mexican, I don't care. Puerto Rican, Julio Cesar Chavez was my guy. So when Pacquiao came around, they're like, well, why don't you go for Barrera or Marquez? I'm like, because Mexico already had a champion. The Philippines didn't. Right now, the big thing in the Philippines is Pacquiao, and I love that guy. That guy's funny, and he boxes really good. So it's time to give them a chance, you guys. And that's how I see it. They go, fuck, dude, I can't get this guy. I can't break him. That's a smart answer, and I hate him for it, And I was like, that's how I look
Asian
at
side answering.
I was like, yeah, it's Pacquiao. So like, the identity was always not in question per se, but definitely like, well, what am I? Who am I? Who am I? Or what? And I was able to just say, what? Screw it. I'm both.
Yeah.
You
gotta embrace both. You gotta embrace both.
Yeah.
Because that's who you are.
I did, and there's running jokes in the family. Like, there's this dish in the Philippines called puto, and I'm sure you guys have heard of that. It's a little rice cake. It's real, it's a delicious rice cake, right? And my mom, I remember this too. My mom, when I was a kid, she would be like, hey, there's a family party, right? She would give me a tray, and she'd be like, hey, go to your abuelita, go to your grandma. Say it like this: Abuelita, would you like some puto? Go tell her that. Even back then, I'm like, I'm not dumb. I'm not dumb. But this is funny. I'll be right back.
Okay, but you gotta admit this. When you previously came on the show and you told me that, hey, I'm a half Mexican, half Filipino, and don't worry, I'll just talk about the Filipino side. I'm going, no, you're not. What makes you interesting is that you do you have
you have both sides.
You have both sides, and I was wondering how you're gonna handle, and you're answering it right now. At the time when I was in the back room, going, hey, how are you handling? Are you accepted by Filipinos because you're Mexican? Are you accepted by Mexican because you're Filipino? Are you accepted by Americans because you are not American, you're Filipino and you're Mexican? I mean, these are very interesting topics. No matter, for us anyway, for me anyway. I don't know.
Yeah. And I get it. I totally get it. And here's the funny thing: I never ran into that whole "who are you? What are you?" from Americans, right? From white people, from non-Hispanics and non-Asians. I never really saw it as an issue, and if people approached me with questions like that, I've always kind of brushed it off and just didn't care, and it never bothered me, even if they were making fun to me in my face, or if they were trying to crack a joke in front of my face. It never bothered me because I look at them like they're an idiot for even trying to crack a joke or trying to make fun of something. I'll answer in a smart ass way. No, just walk away. Just like, you're not in my set. You're not in my circle. I don't need to worry about you and your words. Talk shit all you want. That's fine. You think I'm weird? Oh, there's that Chinese kid over there, but he's not Chinese. He's Mexican. Whatever. That don't bother me. The one thing that bothers me more though is even within my family, or other family members that know me, they still refer to me as Chinese, and nothing wrong with being Chinese, but you guys know I'm Filipino, and though we have the same chinky eyes, we're not the same. Filipinos and Chinese.
I've been called Chinese, Jeff, all this time, Jeff.
Yeah. I know.
And that's the lack of education, right? That's the lack of attempting to learn. That's the lack of asking questions. That's the lack of understanding. It's everyone's, jumbling everyone under the Chinese banner.
Everybody's Chino. That's all. That's all. Everybody's always Chino. It's nothing else. It's like, dude, we're different nations,
Yeah.
man. We're not.
Well,
So
of
then,
course,
like,
I mean, of course,
you know,
everybody get
so
jealous
then-
of a
so then how-
E-Man, and K-pop is jealous of his hair. I mean,
Oh, K-pop, only if you. It's
So,
okay, darling.
we know you love food, and I'm just curious.
Hey, Michael.
Growing up in a multicultural household, what was mealtime like? Obviously, your mom being Mexican, it's going to be sort of Mexican centric in the dish. But were you able to get a good mix of both cultures in your cuisine?
Yes, actually, I did. My mom being married to my dad, she was a good housewife. She's like, you know what? My husband is Filipino. I need to learn how to cook Filipino food.
Nice.
Family parties come over, and it really all depends on which side of the family comes over. Is it the Mexican or Filipino side? And then the Filipinos come over. My mom would learn from the aunties how to make pancit, how to make adobo, how to make kare-kare, how to make pinakbet,
Nice.
pinapaita, and all these other dishes. My mom knows how to cook Filipino food. So home cooking to me really was a combination, a perfect balance of both Mexican and Filipino.
Yeah.
Most days I'm eating white rice. Most days. Fifth member of Blackpink right here.
There's Ryan in the chat.
That I find that really interesting because that takes a lot of sort of foresight and commitment by your mom for her to make sure you had that balance, right? Yeah, because I mean, even my wife's Japanese, right, and I'm Korean, and so our kid's very similar. He's growing up really with being surrounded by sort of three cultures: Korean, Japanese, and American. And we're very cognizant of having him understand, like, look, you are different, but it's a good thing. You have connections to three cultures, whereas other people don't. That's a real privilege for you. So my wife's very good about cooking him Korean food, cooking him Japanese food, and having him understand the differences, because it's a stark difference. It's like people think Korean and Japanese food are similar, but they're very different.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's great that your mom understood that and promoted that in your household.
Exactly. I mean, like when my grandma would come over, my abuelita on the Mexican side, she comes over, and she was the one that stayed with me most of the time while my parents worked. So I had to learn Spanish, because she didn't speak English. So, I learned Spanish. And my grandma, my abuelita, she lived with me for a few years of my, childhood. And the moment she left, I lost the Spanish. I really lost it. My mom would get mad at me for not doing, my chores and whatnot. And she starts yelling to me in Spanish. And I just start crying. And she's like, "Why are you crying?" I was like, I don't know what you're saying. I know you're speaking Spanish, but I don't remember these words. And almost immediately she's like, "Nope, you're going back to your grandma's. We're going to find a way for your grandma to watch you. If I have to come home, pick you up, take you to abuelita's house, then that's what's going to happen." And so I ended up doing that. I ended up relearning Spanish again early on. Now, it was early enough in my childhood where it was like, okay, cool. I remember the sounds, I remember the words. So I'm starting to pick it up again, because it's like, and you guys, a lot of you probably know who have kids and grandparents that are still around. Kids and grandparents have a different connection than parents and kids. And so when abuelita started talking to me in Spanish, I picked it up immediately. But when my mom started speaking to me in Spanish, I would just be like, "I know what you're saying, but give me a second to let it register." So, and that's the one thing I'm extremely grateful for, is that at least I picked up Spanish enough to be able to speak to someone
Brandon.
if I'm ever in trouble, and ever whenever I go down to Mexico. And I've been to Mexico a couple of times, I start speaking Spanish, and the looks on the face.
Yeah.
Oh, wait a minute. you speak Spanish? I'd be like, yeah, chino que para hablar en español, like, oh my God. And I use that right there. And, people, are just extremely friendly after that, but it was just like understanding and learning how to speak the language again was probably the biggest influence in my life. I know it's not Asian, but, being an Asian, being able to speak Spanish in California, it's a big thing.
Now,
Just
you
a,
have
remi- hold on, just a reminder, we have a lip. Oh, who wanna try his pronunciation? Who wanna try pronunciation?
Lipway.
Lipway.
Yeah, that's,
Do we got that right, Lipway? Anyway,
Lip-
Lipway is going to be one of our guests in a few days, I think. So
yeah.
this
Thanks for hopping on, Lipway. We'll see you soon.
Love Lipway, dude. If you guys don't know Lipway Chang, follow him on Instagram. He's got fantastic, phenomenal work. I did a top 5 cover artist video last year. Lipway was on that. I was like, I can't leave my boy out of
Sweet.
it. I love his
Yeah.
work.
cool. All right. I'm sorry to interrupt, guys. Go ahead.
Oh no worries. So kind of going back, we're gonna get into you
Cool.
you obviously mentioned a little bit what your childhood was like. Let's talk about your love for Transformers. Okay, let's get into that. So I think obviously you and I are similar in age. If we were watching G1 as kids, right? So
Mhm.
yeah, like talk us how what your connection to the cartoons and all that, and the toys and everything was.
Yeah. So, I mean, just like any other kid, you come home, it's 2:30, 3:30. You have your afternoon cartoons that you get to watch right after. As soon as you get home, boom, I know exactly. I'm putting on channel 2. I'm watching my cartoons. And I've always had that love of transforming robots. Mech, Voltron, Macross, Gundam, things like that always captured my imagination. So when America had Transformers come out and there was a regular show and it was coming out, I was like, I need to follow this. I love this for whatever reason it is. The theme music, you know. But what really captured me, even as a kid was uh, Optimus Prime's character. You know, Peter Cullen,
Eman, hold on.
yeah.
I just want to say that Optimus Prime right there is way, way, way cooler than Kool-Aid.
Is that the transforming one?
No, it's not. It's
Okay,
not.
I was
Actually,
about to say.
this is actually a third-party Optimus Prime, which is based off of an MP45, I believe, which is like way cheaper, but the quality build on this is just as good. I love
Yeah.
collecting third-party Transformers, but we'll get into that later on. But yeah, that's like my favorite. I'll show you guys like a really cool Transformer or Optimus Prime collectible here in just a second.
All right.
But yeah, going back, I just loved it. And then Peter Cullen's even gone on record saying that, his brother was the one who influenced him and his voice and whatnot. And Peter Cullen was like, how do I approach Optimus Prime? And his brother was like, look, be strong enough. What was it? Be strong enough to be kind or something like that. Be strong enough to be humble, be a strong leader, but don't be overbearing, right? And that's always resonated with me. Optimus Prime has always been the leader. He's always been the good guy. He's always been I'm going to try to do good for this team. I'm going to try to do good not just for everyone, but for my colleagues, for the people who are relying on me. I just loved his leadership as a kid, and I just fell in love with him. So G1 season 1, season 2, yeah, I'm all about this. These are awesome. Yeah, Q Megatron, pew pew, and then the generational trauma began with something called Transformers the movie, and never the same after that.
Yeah.
How do you do that to Optimus Prime? So yeah, I'm one of those kids that went through the generational trauma of like, I hate this show now. Who's
Yeah.
Hot Rod? Who's Rodimus Prime? I want my Optimus,
Right.
and Hasbro
Or
realized
kill off the
big
whole
mistake.
toy line.
Yeah. And Hasbro realized what mistakes they made, and they tried to do everything correctly. And that's why like the later seasons weren't as good, because they're like, oh snap, we got to rescramble this and start all over again. But no matter what, like the first 2 seasons of Transformers have always stuck with me because they were just the best times of my childhood. You know, talking to my friends about the recent episode, talking with them, getting our Transformers, making up scenes. You know, between two of my other neighborhood friends that I had, we had enough Transformers to recreate some of the scenes in
Wow.
the cartoon. You
Wow.
know, so it was just like I was even more fortunate enough to have something like that. Being with other nerds, being with other fans of the cartoon, and we would even get together like, hey, I have a Starscream. You know, okay, well then, you go get a Thundercracker, and I'll go get Skywarp, and then we'll have these right here, and then I already have Optimus Prime, and my friend already had Megatron. Another buddy was like, well, I'll just get Soundwave. And it was just, we were fortunate enough to have that kind of childhood in the 80s. Now, I'm not saying that I lived in an affluent neighborhood by far. Hell no, I kind of lived in the middle of the hood. See, like my little neighborhood in San Jose was like the last oasis of the area because it was kind of bad, but literally my street and this adjacent street were just filled with good people watching out for us while we went outside and played, and everyone knew each other, and everyone was like, hey, look, we got 3 kids in the neighborhood, let's keep an eye out on them, making sure that they have a good time. So I was super fortunate to have that kind of a childhood right there.
Mm-hmm.
So, being able to recreate the Transformers with my friends, being able to play Transformers with my friends, and doing the voices, it stuck. Yeah, we had G.I. Joe. Yes, we had Voltron. There was other cartoons, but for us as a group, as a child, it was always about Transformers.
Okay, so you did also like G.I. Joe, for the record.
Yes. Oh, I love G.I. Joe. It was 1 and 2. It was a very close 1 and 2. G.I. Joe could never beat Transformers for me because they're robots. That's cooler. But G.I. Joe was awesome, especially when they got Jinx and when they got a couple of the other Asian characters. I was like, oh, dude, like that's close enough to like Filipinos. Like that's really cool to me too. So yeah, I mean, like G.I. Joes and Transformers and how violent they were for the age. Children nowadays can't watch stuff like that anymore, but we watched it.
Yeah, it's a different era.
Yeah, completely.
You couldn't have like ninjas flashing swords and guns and stuff.
No, not at all.
So that's great. So your favorite, I guess, Autobots and favorite Decepticons, maybe like top 3 of each.
Favorite Autobots, of course. Number 1 is Optimus. Number 2, I would go with Hot Rod because I liked him in the movie. Hot Rod.
Okay.
No, not Rodimus. Hot Rod was cool to me. Number 3, I would probably go with Jetfire. I really liked it when he was introduced because he was like, I'm a Decepticon, but that doesn't mean anything. I'm just a scientist, I know Starscream. We work together. That's my friend. I got to fight these Autobots, right? And then he realized, wait a minute, you're like on the wrong side here. Like that's not cool. So Jetfire always resonated with me. Also,
the Jetfire toy was really cool too. It was probably the best toy of the whole. Yeah,
it was, but people who know that, like the Jetfire toy didn't look like Jetfire in the cartoon, but people who really knew, they're like, this is Robotech. But people who knew even more, they're like, that's not Robotech, that's Macross right there. So like my cousin had the Valkyrie and he had Jetfire. I had Jetfire, and we're like, yeah, we know what's up.
Yeah, they kind of just stuck stickers on the Macross.
Yeah. Top 3 Decepticons.
Yeah.
Top 3 Decepticons. This is probably going to throw some people off. Number 1, and he's not a Decepticon, but he is a bad guy, Unicron.
Oh, okay.
I loved what Unicron represented. I loved that he was like, I don't care about either one of you guys. I'm going to just mess you both up. I'm this planet. Eat my ass,
Yeah.
I love. Yeah.
Who has the top 3 Decepticon?
What was that?
Was that from Otaku or was that from chat? Question wise.
It was from me.
Okay, I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. I'm trying to do two things at once. Well, I'm going to ask you, since you are collector guest and you're part of the co-host. I'm going to ask you to sometime look at the chat and answer some of the questions if you can.
I will.
Make it easy, a little bit easier for me.
I wish Katie was here, man, because
Yeah.
I'll
That's
address
such a good
I'll address questions in the chat. I'm seeing them. I'm seeing them.
Yeah.
I don't mind answering a lot of the questions. But I'm like looking at you guys. Like, questions are coming.
Yeah.
Sorry, you guys.
No problem. No problem. No. I'm not commenting on you. I'm commenting on myself. I'm trying to catch up with it, and I cannot listen to you at the same time. And sorry, I just want to apologize. Man.
Don't worry,
No
Norman.
worries,
You're doing a great job. Number
Yeah.
2, Megatron. I loved Megatron. And I was fortunate enough, and I've shared this on my channel before, but I was fortunate enough to meet both Peter Cullen and Frank Welker at a con.
Nice.
Got their autographs on a bunch of stuff, and being able to shake my hero's hand. Well, elbow bump because it was the weekend of COVID. That's a whole different story. I'll tell you guys about that. But meeting my childhood hero, I thought was like the greatest thing. And on top of that, on how kind he was to his fans, just made it so much more special. So, I was fortunate enough to meet a hero, and he wasn't an asshole. So that's a good thing, right? And then number 3, Decepticon. This one also really wasn't a Decepticon, but he kind of fought on the bad side, and this is going to trip out a lot of people also. I loved Predaking.
Predaking, okay.
Predaking was it was one of the first not I think it was one of the first Predacons that came together in 3. And I loved his attitude, similar to Unicron, very much like, I got my own agenda. I don't like you, and I don't like you, but your agenda is more in line with mine, Megatron. I'll help you out, but it's going to benefit me at the end. So, like, when all the Predacons got together, like,
You have some kind of Predacon you can show? Because I don't even know what that Predacon is.
I don't, and that's actually one of the things that I'm going to be working towards adding my collection, are collecting the Predacons. There's this third-party Predaking that I saw, and it's like $600 for all 5 robots, and it's detailed, beautifully detailed. But it's expensive. It's one of those things where I'm probably going to have to buy piece by piece. So I'm probably going to end up paying for it more at the end. But if I want this in my collection, I'm going to have to do it little by little.
So we've already established you had an awesome childhood. But let's delve into that, because I know you and I were talking backstage about the Filipino Latino sort of bicultural community. People like yourself who have representation on both cultures. And I suspected that it's a pretty big community there in California, right? Because California is a very diverse state, especially San Jose, right? You got just people mixing with each other, right? Yep. Cultures mixing with one another. So yeah, talk about that. What was your community like?
So I didn't really have that kind of a community, but I know that there is one. So in the little tiny town that I was born in California, there is a large mixture of Mexicanos, and they actually have this Barrio Fiesta Mexican Cultural Day in this town, where they celebrate both, the Mexican and Filipino culture. Because, in California, as a lot of people know, a lot of the farm workers are Mexicans. But what they don't know is that some of the Filipinos started off that way too. And they would go straight to the valley. Matter of fact, Filipino migration, when it came down to it in the early 1900s, they actually, it ended up immigrating over to Stockton, Bakersfield, like these towns in Central California. And so it was kind of like a natural thing for my dad to do the same thing. He comes from the Philippines. He graduated college. He needed a job. He knew he needed to work out on the fields. That's where they met. But it wasn't just my dad who did it. It was very common for Mexicans and Filipinos to congregate in the Central Valley to help picking with the asparagus. There's a big asparagus festival in Stockton, California. And though it's revolved around asparagus, it's a very Filipino-centric festival, because in the early 1900s, it was a lot of the Filipinos that was coming over to California picking the asparagus. So they'll have their Barrio Fiesta, and the Mexicans would have like their celebration. Not Cinco de Mayo. We all know that's not a real thing, but it is. But in this little town, they would actually have fiesta, street fair, oh, we celebrate the Mexican because of how big those two cultures are in that tiny little section north of Bakersfield is.
You guys,
And
hold on. You guys lost the sound too, Eman? Or was just
Yeah, he
me?
was breaking up. He was breaking up. Yeah.
oh, my bad. I'm in the garage right now and I'm so sorry. I have some bad like
No, it's all
Wi-Fi.
right. We can hear you now.
Yeah. So yeah. Okay. Good. Yeah.
So yeah, in this little town, they do have a community, and one day I do want to go back and celebrate that because it's me,
Yeah.
it's me. And I know San Francisco had one recently. I just couldn't make it. I think we're doing something, but yeah, there is more and more Mexican Filipino fests popping up everywhere, and I love it. I absolutely love it.
You say something about Cinco de Mayo? Did you say something about that?
Yeah, it's not a real Mexican holiday. It's not, all right, but
Okay.
It's just a alcoholic Mexican holiday.
Yeah.
Cinco de Mayo, St. Patrick's Day. You know what they do for St. Patrick's Day in Ireland? Live. You know what they do for Cinco de Mayo in Mexico? Live. It's an American thing.
Oh, May in Korea, May 5th is a Children's Day.
Oh.
So, yeah. So.
And imagine if I was half Korean and half Mexican. There you go, kids. Then go get drunk.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm glad you mentioned that connection between, the farm workers, because that's a big part of the civil rights movement, right? Larry Leong, he led the Filipino agricultural workers. They joined forces with the Mexican, agricultural workers, and they went on strike, and they were able to unionize and really fight for workers' rights during that time. So, there's that, I think, sort of brotherhood of during the civil rights movement of coming together and really fighting for justice for those workers. So, yeah, I'm glad you touched on that.
A lot of Filipinos walked with Cesar Chavez during those strikes. So Cesar Chavez, he's big in the Mexican community, especially here in California. But a lot of people don't know that Filipinos are there too, side by side with the Mexicans, doing that. So it was
they wouldn't have had the success without that kind of coming together and rallying around the same cause. So
exactly.
Great. So, I mean, yeah, you must obviously have some, like of those friends who you guys share the same heritage.
Yes, yeah. So Red from the C-List Villains podcast, he's Filipino, and I met him in high school, and then so here's where the identity part comes in for me. So when I moved from San Jose to this little town out in the Central Valley, it was mostly white people, right? And in San Jose, it was just like we're all just whatever, right? We're all just hanging out. Oh, you're Vietnamese, cool. I'm Mexican, Filipino. You're Mexican. Oh, you're Honduran, cool. Just whatever. That wasn't a thing. But when I moved to this little town and away from the big city, away from people who have like culture, and into a city where it was foreign to them, I was looked at like, what in the shit are you? Like, are you Chinese? But like kind of look. People just didn't know. I'm like, no, I'm Mexican Filipino. They're like, what's a Filipino? So it's like mind-boggling to me. But that's also my issue, because I'm like, well, I thought you would know. I know people that know what a Filipino, but don't you know what a Filipino is? And they look at me and they go, well, what is a Filipino? I've never seen. So it was kind of like, whoa, mom and dad, where are we? This is a little strange. So 6th grade, 7th, and 8th grade were actually some of the harder years for me because of identity, because of who I was as a Filipino and who I was as a Mexican. Like they looked at Mexicans as like lower class, but they just couldn't pinpoint what a Filipino was. And that's what interested people more. And they wanted me to share that part of the culture, every day. Like, this is the food I eat. This is the place where I come from. But I was born in California. Like, I'm American, dude. You like, relax. But it was still very difficult, being raised around, cowboys, people who worked out on the farm, people who worked out, in the fields, or just jocks, or just like they were into like things that I wasn't into because I didn't grow up on it. Like I didn't grow up, in an area where there was a whole lot of, a whole lot of farmland. I don't know what 4-H and all the farm stuff is. Like, I know there's cows and whatnot, but I don't know anyone that raised them. So like that was foreign to me.
Right.
So it was a lot of adjustment. It took a lot of adjustment. So like from sixth grade to about sophomore year, it was kind of like who, I got to find my group. There was no Filipinos in my high school, none whatsoever. Maybe like 3, but even they were kind of like, I didn't even know there was other Filipinos here. Until I ended up going to summer school. Messed up. Went to summer school, but then like I saw other kids from other schools go to the same summer school that I had to go to catch up on some credits, and I saw a whole shitload of Filipinos. I'm like, I'm not the only one. Wait a minute here. There's more of us, right? And they looked at me like, 4, 5. Who are you? We know all of the Filipinos, but you are different to us. Why? And then like I'll tell them what high school I went to, and they're like, "Well, all of us go to this other high school. Like, what's going on?" I told them my story. They're like, "Oh, come, we'll show you the way of the Force." So then through a girl, I met another girl. Through that girl, I met some friends, and then through those friends, I met Red and all of our friends, and our group of friends with Red and I, like I've been a part of that group since like junior year in high school. Like we've known each other since then, and our friendship has grown since then. It was cool. I got to learn more about what it was to be, a Filipino American. Like, how did you live? How did you grow up? What was your life like? And it wasn't too dissimilar from mine, which was really nice to know that, oh man, cool. There's other people who know my story. There's other people who kind of lived like I did. And I have that bonus of being Mexican. I have the Filipino culture, and then I have the Mexican culture on top of that, And at first, for a little bit, I was like, oh, I'm a little at a disadvantage because I'm only half. But going back to when I was a kid, I'm 100% both. It felt like that. I was like, I'm full in with this Filipino group, and then I'm fully in with being Mexican too. So it was really nice to be able to see other people who looked like me, who understood, who understood some of the stinky fish sauces, who understood I need a white rice, who understood I need to eat with a fork and a spoon. Like I need both of these,
Yeah.
And it was nice, and that's like why, like, one of the main reasons why Red's like one of my best friends, because and it's not just Red. We have like this group of friends, and we're all mostly Filipino. We have one white guy, one black guy, but there are boys. That's family. We're brothers. We look at each other as brothers now because even though we don't see each other as often as we did back then, we still have this connection. And I'm forever grateful that they showed me that, there's other Filipinos around here, man. You're not alone. And I love them for that.
Yeah. I think one of the major differences, because, I come from, I'm Korean, and I've lived in Korea, and I've traveled to the Philippines on multiple occasions for business. And, I can honestly say South Koreans aren't the most inclusive people. They tend to kind of have sort of outdated views on race, especially the ones in South Korea, right? They can tend to be sort of discriminatory to other Asians, right? But the really awesome thing about visiting the Philippines was it was the exact opposite. Filipinos were so welcoming, so like inclusive, and just so open to you, treating you as the guest. Like, oh, you're from South Korea here. Let us show you around. And that was really like impressed on me how generous the culture is. Like people are just naturally warm and inviting to strangers, to people they don't know very well. So that was just one thing that I observed. And so I think you're really fortunate to have found that as a young person, to have found your clique. And, obviously it was an inclusive one. So for you, it was a good transition to kind of deepen your Filipino roots.
Yeah. I was very fortunate.
Hey,
I was very lucky.
Hey, thank you for being one of the token white guys for our groups.
I saw someone ask if who are my favorite Filipino, my favorite Mexican actors. Vogs. I'm gonna say this. I didn't really watch a lot of Filipino or Mexican movies growing up. I know, like, my mom tried to make me watch Mexican movies. Never really watched them just because I didn't, understand them. Like, I understand Spanish, but like when they speak too fast in media, I'm like, that's like a completely different, frames per second. I can't handle that right there. And the same thing with the Philippines. I didn't never really watch any Filipino movies. However, I can point this out. Red Sonja. When Red Sonja first came out,
Oh,
it wasn't because Bridget Nielsen was hot at the time. It wasn't that we all had that crush on. It's because Ernie Reyes Jr. was in that movie, right? I'm like, oh my god, he's got the same haircut as I do. And then my dad's like, oh yeah, that little guy, he's Filipino. I'm like, what? There's a Filipino in here. So then, like, seeing Ernie Reyes Jr. in Red Sonja.
Ooh, I
There's
didn't know
another,
that. I didn't know that at
yeah.
all. Wow.
And then he was in another movie, and I forgot which movie it was. And I watched that one for a while as a kid too. And then there was a break, and then there was something called Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles that came out, and it was like twice as cool because I'm like, it's the Turtles and it's Filipino Ernie Reyes Jr. And I was fortunate enough to meet him at a con a few years back, so that was another
Nice.
childhood meet that I had. So if we're gonna go with something like that, it's not because I have more love for Filipinos than I do for my Mexican side. It's just because I wasn't like too aware of the Mexican actors or actresses. But I will say, growing up, Ernie Reyes Jr. was my favorite Filipino actor.
Yeah. Salma Hayek. Ernie Reyes Jr., for those of you who don't know, he's like just this martial arts legend, child actor. I mean, he's made probably 1,000 martial arts films as a child actor, and he just kicks butt.
You guys are dropping some knowledge bombs here for me. So,
dude can kick butt.
And Ernie Reyes Jr. ended up like starting his own martial arts school in San Jose, and very close to where I lived, there was a couple of Ernie Reyes Jr. Martial arts schools that I really wanted to attend, but my family couldn't really afford it. But if there was one thing that I wish I had done as a kid was go to his particular martial arts school to be taught by a Filipino, because I didn't see enough of us around, and that meant a lot. But it's okay, it's very much. I got to meet him, so that's good enough,
Well, we obviously don't have
I'll be right back.
access to Ernie Reyes Jr.'s mindset of why he got into martial arts, but I would imagine it has something to do with Bruce Lee and has something to do with, the martial arts legends that were, popping up during the 70s, right, and early 80s. So he probably got influenced by just the East Asian sort of culture of martial arts.
Exactly.
Jeff, do you have any questions for Eman? We've been kind of quiet.
well, yeah, I got like a couple. What was it? Do you have any favorite Filipino artists, like comic book artists now that you're following or anything like that? Like
yeah. So I'll get into my origin story here in a little bit with regards to comic books. But surprisingly, it's not Will Spartaccio, which is crazy. Which is great. Now, don't get me wrong. I am not here to say he's not a good artist. He's a phenomenal artist. And I was waiting for his Wetworks book to come out back in the 90s, because it was a Filipino artist. But I'm going to say right now, my favorite Filipino artist is Miko Suayan. I love the fact that, a Filipino was able to create covers and come out and do some stuff and work for Marvel. And that was a big thing. I'm like, I mean, man, dude, you made it, Miko. Like, this is so awesome. I'm going to try to get some stuff from you. I even, matter of fact, I ended up hearing about Miko Suayan from AJ, the host of the Sealess Villains podcast. He goes around. He's like, hey guys, I'm in contact with someone over there at Comics Ulysses in the Philippines. Just wondering who wants to go in on a set of these. This guy's name is Miko, and the character is Wave, and she's a Filipina superhero in Marvel. Like, who wants to go in on this? I'm like, hey man, I'll go in on this. He's like, yeah. So he got a bunch of people together to order like a bunch. Like when I say a bunch, I'm talking about like 20, maybe 30 sets of that new Agents of Atlas.
Oh
Miko
yeah, I remember
Suwayan.
that. Yeah.
Variants.
He got a bunch of us to get together to do that. I bought 2 sets.
Nice.
And to this day, I'm like, yeah, I'm holding on to Miko's stuff, So Miko Suwayan right now, probably my favorite Filipino artist.
Oh. But you would laugh. You would
Yes,
laugh when I met Miko for the first time though, because I heard the name and I'm like, and then since the don't get me wrong, long hair, a guy. I thought it was.
I thought you were a girl,
yeah.
dude.
yeah, pretty much. Yeah, and then,
Oi, ¿cómo está? My name is Miko. Oh.
Yeah.
Hey, let's show some of your stuff, bud. Let's show some stuff.
All right, yeah. Let's get into what you collect, but first, your introduction to comic books. Like, where did that connection start, and how did it evolve?
Yeah. So my little cousin Alex, like he's my little brother. Like we grew up side by side. He's on the Filipino side. I went to his house every weekend growing up. Go to his house to watch football games, to play video games, to just me and him. It's 2 boys growing up together. So one day he tells me, he's like, "Hey man, like, well, hold on, back it up a little bit. My friends in the neighborhood will always try to get me to read comics. I'm like, even back then I was like, there's too much lore. Like I know Spider-Man, I know of X-Men, but I can't afford to go out and buy comics, and I don't know, comic book shops pretty far away from me. So, they tried, and I was like, no, I'm cool. As I got a little bit older, my cousin was like, hey man, you know who, Todd McFarlane and Jim Lee and all those guys are? I'm like, no, who are those guys? I don't know what Todd McFarlane is. He's like, oh yeah, he's some guy who used to draw Spider-Man. He's like, well, him and a bunch of like really big name people broke away from Marvel, give him the finger, and they say, we're walking out, we're gonna start our own company, and they all created their own characters, and this is like, they're starting with their own stuff, get in on this. I was like, okay, cool. We're starting from the beginning. He's like, yeah, it's whole new stories, yeah, whole new characters, yeah, sure, why not? So I jumped in on the Image stuff early on. I have Wildcats 1, I have Spawn 1, I have Youngblood 1, I have Shadowhawk 1, and all Wetworks 1, and I started with Image from the beginning because I'm like, you know what, I would like to get into comics, but because there's so much lore with all these other comics and I wasn't there from the beginning, I'd feel like a poser. I don't want to do that. I like the idea of jumping from the beginning. I'm not here to, buy a bunch of number ones to, put me through college. I'm here to buy a bunch of number ones to start from the beginning,
Right.
So like I started with Image, and I just stuck with Image, from the early 90s till I got to high school, when Girls came about, and I was like, oh, all right, well, she's gonna think I'm dirty. I can't.
That's all of
find
us,
comic
man.
books.
Girls came about.
Right? Girls are comics, and you're like, shit. All right, girls.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was my thing right there. Was reading and doing nothing but Image stuff. So then I took that big break, and I started again in 2013, 2014. I was like, I want to get back into comics. Stepped into an LCS. I was like, hey man, I want to get back in, and but I don't know what to read. I don't want to start from X-Men, and I told him the same thing. He's the person at the shop. He's like, you know what, I got you. Have you heard of a trade paperback? I'm like, I don't know what that is. Tell me what that is. What's a trade paperback? And he would explain to me it's just a collection of comics put together. Yada yada yada. I'm like, you know what? Introduce me to 3. Give me. I was like, I know who Grant Morrison is. And, I know who. I named off some writers. And he recommended 3 really good books to me. God, I forgot all of them. One of them was We 3 by Grant Morrison. It's about the animals who were turned into like robots, and they were used for military experiments and whatnot. And so I started collecting again from then, but then I stayed away consciously again from Marvel and DC because I'm like, I know of them, and I just don't want to pick up on it and be a poser. Like I said, I just started collecting number ones of just random things, just to see what I was getting myself into. As time went on, I now realize like I'm more into mid-dependent books. I'm into Boom, I'm into Image, I'm into Vault. I'm into like some of the smaller guys. And if a Marvel book catches my eye where it kind of starts from the beginning, I will jump on that just to see how that goes, you know. So I have some Marvel in my collection, but most of my collection is, like I said, mid-dependent stuff, and some of my favorite stories, you know, came out over the last few years. We Live is like my absolute favorite one that's come out over the last few years, and then unfortunately what's happening with the Miranda brothers and that's in that property. But like, you know, thinking about like the stuff that I've enjoyed, um, 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 Seven Secrets is one of my absolute favorites that has come out. Andrea Sorrentino had this one book that came out. God, I forgot what it was called. I have the whole collection. It's like a horror. It was before the Bone Orchard books. That I fell in love with that, and of course, you know, Something's Killing the Children and Saga, and though that's my world right there. That's where I live in those books right there. And as much as I admire, you know, DC and Marvel, you know, rarely do I pick those up, but when I do, it's kind of all right. You know, it's probably like, you know, an Elseworlds type, you know, or just something that can kind of begins and ends, you know. And I like that. I like that more, where, you know, you start a story, it ends, boom, cool, instead of like, oh, here's issue 798. We're going to introduce a variant of another bad guy character that you know of. And it's like, all right, you know, and I think that's what pulled me away from Big Three or Big Two, because I wasn't there for those. So that's my collection.
Well, we're gonna get right into it. Let's see. So just show off like comics, toys, whatever you feel like represents you as what you collect.
All right, let's go ahead and start with some games. I'm a gamer also. So I love Final Fantasy VII. So I have, let me see, I want to make sure I got the right one. I'm going to show you guys here. All right, so I have Final Fantasy VII for the PlayStation 1, right?
Nice.
I love this game so much. I have it again.
Nice.
You have two of those?
Yeah, but
those are big money.
But this one is the error version.
Ooh.
And the error version was a big thing to collectors because on the back, and you guys are probably not going to be able to see. I don't know, maybe let's see if I can adjust this right here. Oh shit!
Beep 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 beep.
Shit! Now I gotta adjust
Beep,
all this. Hold
beep.
on. God dang it! See, look what happens. But
Our
on
beep
the
machine
back,
is slow today.
on the back,
Ooh.
there's an error. Where are you? In this somewhere around here. Anyways, around here, there's an error, and this was sought after by a lot of collectors. So I have two, one that I play and one that I'm supposed to send to CGC, but I never have. So
Sweet.
I got that. Hideo Kojima is one of my absolute matter of fact, he is my favorite game developer. So I met him a few years ago, and I bought Death Stranding, and it was signed by the elusive Hideo Kojima.
Nice.
Wow.
Right there. And then this is the head designer of the game also, and he helped design Metal Gear Solid as well. So like, if you're in the gaming world and you know who Hideo Kojima is, that's a huge name right there.
Yeah. Everybody loves Metal Gear.
Everyone loves Metal Gear. I love Metal Gear. I collect Aeris from Final Fantasy VII. I collect
Eman.
Yeah.
I was watching you in the Spidey's channel, and they were going, what the F is doing with that? I mean, what was the reason for that?
Oh, okay. Some of those guys are like, they're not into video games. That's why. That's all. They're just like, what's a Final Fantasy? Get that thing out of here. Like, it's a thing. But I also collect RC from Transformers.
Oh, nice.
So Aeris and RC are the two, other than Optimus Prime, are the two that I like to collect the most, because my nerd instincts was to name my child Aeris RC. So my daughter is named, and she knows she's named after a video game and Transformer character, and she's like,
awesome,
cool. So when I took her to go watch the movie last year, the Rise of the Beast, she saw RC, and I can hear her. She was all happy about it. So that's some of the stuff I collect. So let me go ahead and show you like things that are Asian centric as far as my comic book collection goes. Let me show you this. Now, not too many people might know Invincible Iron Man number 1 or number 2. Number 2. But to Filipinos, this is the first appearance of the Triumph what was it called? the Triumph Division, which is the very first Filipino supergroup in Marvel
Oh, cool.
Comics. You know,
Very
but they all
nice.
died. So it's like, all right, that's great.
Oh no. No.
You know, and then then going back, we did talk about Wills, and I told you I was waiting for Wetworks, so I have Wetworks number 1.
Nice.
You know, this is
Yep.
ultra rare. I think only 7 million of these are printed, right? You know, 6 or 7 is ultra rare. I have another Wills piece, and I want to say that this is Arrow number 3, and I want to say this is a big time collectibles edition, special edition, and this is the variant, and it's got a couple of the members from New Agents of Atlas, of course. And then there's Wave right there.
Beautiful.
You know, so and I heard I would not be welcome on this show if I don't show any Jim Lee stuff. So let me show you some Jim Lee stuff, but that still stays in line with who I am. So here's that Wildcats number 1.
Oh,
signed,
beautiful.
Signed by Jim Lee. Hold on. And then everyone remember Wizard when they were giving away those cards?
Yes.
Remember Wizard was giving
Yeah,
you see that little
that's
smudge
signed
right
as
there?
well. Nice.
That's also signed. So I got
That's
some
awesome.
Jim Lee stuff there.
Yeah. You're gonna get kicked out of the stream if you didn't have any Jim Lee.
Well, that solidifies our relationship.
Are we friends at talking? Can we be friends now? I forgot who did this. This is signed Mercado, and I want to say this is also a big time collectibles special edition. But when they were doing like the whole Captain America thing, and they were doing like all the different races and stuff like that, I picked up the Filipino one. So this is the first appearance of oh shit, what was her name? Something Agbayani. And this is her as Captain America. And she was like a little social justice college student. So I have this, and I have the trade upstairs also. And then to like continue like with some of the Filipino artists. So I read Tressa. So if anyone watched the Netflix anime, which was a fantastic show, I absolutely loved it. So this is Tressa. This is from Budget 10 and art from Kajo Baldissimo.
Wow.
And this is all like Filipino folklore right here. This right here reminds me of that show Grimm.
Yeah.
Grimm has like
I want to point you to this little message here.
Yeah.
When I grew up, I thought Jim Lee was an all white dude related to Stanley.
You know, not gonna lie, I said the same thing to my cousin who introduced me to comics. I was like, I know what Stanley, he's the one who started off in X-Men. Is Jim Lee related? He's like, no, dude, he's Asian. Like, I'm like, oh no, you gotta teach me these things, man. I know nothing. So that was really cool.
I think they used to joke that they were related though, like to throw people off.
You know what? Hold on.
I like NammaN's new camera. Like it follows him everywhere.
I know. It's like
got that little Osmo.
Yeah.
Because Jim Lee's mentioned.
Right back to him, like on point. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Because Jim Lee's mentioned and Stan Lee was mentioned, I have to show off for one book.
Okay.
Sorry.
Don't apologize.
So.
Oh
yeah, I remember that one. Yeah.
That's a nice one.
This is where Stan Lee worked on DC comic books.
Not gonna lie, she kind of looked like Wave in that picture.
I mean, and this is Jim Lee's design of Wonder Woman.
Yep. That's one I'm looking for right now. This one.
Well, this is yours, Otaku. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
That's
Thank you.
so awesome.
Thank you.
That's
awesome.
so awesome.
Back to Eman.
So Big Time Collectibles a few years ago, they did that Miko Suwayan box. I was like, you know what?
Yeah, I remember those boxes. Yeah.
And then some of them had hitters. Some of them were like cool. One of my boxes included this.
Ooh.
This Spider-Man Spider Shadow, which is actually a pretty cool book, signed by Miko and remarked.
Yeah, remarked. Wow.
It's remarked and signed. CGC.
Sweet.
Bam.
And they gave you the fancy label for that one.
Nice.
I got Marvel stuff too, you guys. I collect
Nice.
Marvel also. 2 more things I want to show you guys. So I did bring up New Agents of Atlas. So I ended up winning this one in a raffle during Nick's Kicks at Comics. Nick's Kicks and Comics stream once. So I was like, oh, I need to buy that right there. So I have the second printing of New Agents of Atlas #1 with, and I think that's Luna on the cover. Hold on, you see, is that Luna?
She's Korean. She's Korean.
Crap, I forgot. Yeah, I think this is Luna right here. But yeah, I
She's
got
Korean.
this one.
She's a Korean superhero.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had
She's
a period in
Luna.
time where I was collecting Asian heroes too.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah, and then of
Oh
course,
wow! Then says Luna Snow is the new Marvel game. Okay, cool.
that's dope. That's dope.
Mhm.
And then the last thing, I don't want to take up too much time right here. I brought up again Miko, right? We're talking about Miko, right?
Yeah.
We're talking about that New Agents of Atlas #1,
Oh yeah,
right?
yeah.
Oh,
Right there.
nice.
Signed. But here's the thing: I have 2 of these.
Oh,
Now I didn't get a
Red.
Miko book.
Red brought these 2 to MegaCon 2 years ago when he attended. Went
Uh-huh.
over straight to the BTC booth and had Miko not only sign it, but he went ahead and remarked
Yeah.
it with the Filipino sun and
Nice.
stars right there to represent the Filipino flag.
Oh, that's cool.
that's
I
dope.
have 2 of these right here. No, they are not for giveaway. No, I'm not selling
No.
these right now.
That's a keeper right there.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, did you tell Lipway that you're gonna give away the Transformer figure?
Oh, so for Lipway's stream, I have a special giveaway for Lipway stream, and he knows that. I already told him what I'm going to do. So, Tate Eman isn't allowed to enter giveaways anymore. I get it, man. Don't worry about it. I rarely win anything, so just being able to win something.
Well, let's get into some of the Transformer stuff. So I got to ask you, are you excited about the relaunch of Final Fantasy VII?
Hold on, are we talking Transformers or Final Fantasy VII?
Final Fantasy VII. Are you like? I think you have to reserve the game, right? Because there's like probably a huge wait list when that thing comes out.
So no, it's pretty easy to get.
Okay.
I have played Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, which was the first game in this trilogy. I have played Rebirth, loved everything about it. Yes, it was a little bit more linear. Yes, it was. It was only the story within the city, and yes, they're making us pay for 3 games for a game that we've already played once. I get it. I love it that much, though. I understand the gripes, but I loved the game so much. I was able to relive stories, see the story differently, and then the ending was like a really big twist, and you're like, "What's going on? Like, I need to play more of this right here." So when they announced Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, unfortunately, only came out on PS5. I don't have a PS5, as you can see behind me, right
Yeah.
here. I moved over to the PC Master Race, and now I only PC game. I still have my PS4, and I enjoy that thing when I can, but I play only on PC. So now I'm waiting for Final Fantasy 16 and 7 remake. I'm waiting for Final Fantasy 7 remake and Final Fantasy 16 to come out on PC so I can finally play those games. And yes, I'm waiting. And the good thing is I don't have to wait in line for those because I can just download them directly to my hard drive and I'm good.
All right.
Ryan
has a
Gonzalez.
question. Yep. Have you heard about the new Transformers 1 movie coming out?
I have, Ryan. Thank you so much for asking. I heard about this, a few years back, when they made the announcement. But it was one of those things where we had to wait. Like, well, hold on. It's exciting, but what is it? First and foremost, right? Everyone was waiting. Everyone heard the, what's his name was going to be the voice of Optimus and Orion Pax, Thor,
Chris
Hemsworth.
Yeah.
So when they announced that Chris Hemsworth was going to voice Orion Pax, I wasn't mad at that. I wasn't. I was like, this is a younger, unrefined Optimus Prime. He needs to sound younger. Peter Cullen, I've seen him in person. I've seen him at cons, and I've seen how he is now, and he needs to rest. He's the one that gave Optimus life, and it's time for him to, it's okay now, Peter. Like, it's cool. So, like, I wasn't upset that they announced him as Orion Pax, but I was still wondering, what is this movie going to be about? And once we finally got the trailer, I was like, okay, as a G1 fan, I was not happy. I wasn't, because I'm a grown up now. I grew up on G1. I'm a grown up. Why aren't you giving me a grown up G1 movie? But it's because Transformers has always been about the kids. It's always been about selling toys. It's always been about getting the younger minds. So I'm not mad at it, but I also understand that I wasn't the demographic they were trying to go for. Now,
Yeah.
am I going to watch it? My stepkids and my daughter, they're like, yeah, I actually want to watch that. You know, that looks cool. Where did Optimus Prime comes from? And I'm like, you know what? That's true, though. You know, we still, though we've heard of the origin story, we don't have a definitive origin story to it. So I like to see it, fully expecting that it's for the kids. But in time, I would like to see a more adult set, not adult centric, but adult aimed at Transformers, you know, cartoon. What they showed at the beginning of Bumblebee, that's what I want. The War for Cybertron, that's what I want.
Yeah.
The battles, the fights, everything, that's what I want.
Yeah.
And hopefully Paramount and the studios can get together and say, all right, well, you know what? Transformers, Rise of the Beast, Bumblebee, like this new rehash that we're doing is big enough. Let's go ahead and do War for Cybertron. And I hope one day that we get that. That's the movie I want.
Yeah. You know, the success of Barbie, the movie, and of course, you know, Transformers, that franchise has been very successful in terms of the movies. I just think we're going to see a lot of Transformers moving forward. Anything that delves into nostalgia and toys and all that. But, you know, Barbie proved this is a cash cow. So you're going to just have everybody want. I mean, we're probably going to even see like a Voltron live action. We're probably going to see just everything just at least bubble up from that success.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It's just a matter of which property they're going to choose to bring to live action and how are they going to market it. Voltron, even back then, it was still, you know, aimed at teenagers. It was a little violent, right? It was made for a 6-7-year-old, but it was still cool, right? But I you know, I think we're at the time now where we can see a live action Gundam, a live action Macross, a live action Evangelion, live action, you know, War for Cybertron. I know the tools are there. It's just a matter of what decisions the studios are going to make, how they're going to aim it, and, you know, what effort they're going to allow to be put into it. We're now, like, a lot of us have grown to know what we want in a movie, and especially based on a property that we absolutely love. So what are the studios going to do to make sure that they keep the fans happy and still bring in a new crowd and still make money? Yep. And I know that's the hardest decisions to make, and we can always blame the studios for giving us shit movies, probably because they didn't really do all the necessary research. But if you actually do and sit down and research who's about this property, how are we going to approach it, how can we make money on it and still give them something what they want, the tools are there. I know they can do it. It's just a matter of, you know, the risk that they're willing to take. And I think the risk is worth it. There's enough fans out there who want to watch some of these properties turn into movies, and I know a lot of us are going to show up.
Yep. All right, Katie has a question. Have you heard
of the Cybertronic band? Oh yeah. I've heard about them. So I ended up buying tickets for them. Check this out. I had tickets to go see them in San Francisco. I actually called the venue too. I was like, hey, what's the age limit? My daughter's name is RC. They were talking to me for a good 10 minutes about it. And they're like, oh my God, that's so awesome. Blah, 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 blah. Unfortunately, it is 21 and over. I'm like, but that would have been so cool if you know, if she could have come. I'm like, hey, you know what? I understand. You know, it's the venue. Cool. No worries. But I still got tickets. You know, we had it set up. Kids are going to get babysat, yada, yada, yada. Something weird happened around that time. I think it's called COVID-19. Something prevented us from watching this show. I don't know. Everyone's catching the flu or something like that. I don't know. Right. But yeah, we had to cancel it. They're like, yeah, they had to cancel the show because, you know, COVID. So I never got to see them. But when they do come to San Francisco, when they come to the Bay Area again, best believe I'm gonna be in line. I'm gonna watch them. Yeah, I really want to go out because they're like a tribute band too. Like they do all the not only the Transformer songs, but they do like a bunch of '80s like cover songs. You know, they're really fun. I really enjoy watching their videos.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I gotta check them out. All right.
Yeah, they're called the Cybertronic Spree, I believe is the name of the band.
All right, I think you're gonna show off some of your Transformer collections now.
Is that what you want me to do? I will show
Yeah.
you my Transformer.
Let's do
Of
it.
course. So this is my Optimus Prime, but this is a third party Optimus Prime right here,
Mhm.
based off of MP44, which is like $500. I got this one for like, oh no, I actually won. Oh, I hold on. I won this one in a waffle actually.
Okay.
So if you guys know what a waffle is, you know, it's like it's a raffle, but they can't use the word raffle, right? Because Facebook doesn't allow that. But a buddy of mine that I met at ToyCon in Las Vegas the weekend that the weekend that COVID happened, the same weekend I met Peter Cullen and Frank Welker, he told me about this group that he had on Facebook, and he's like, "Yeah, we do waffles," and you know, I was like, "What's a waffle?" He's like, it's basically a raffle, but we just can't use that word." I'm like, "Okay," you know. He's like, "You know what? Why don't you join one day?" One of his members put this one up, and he hit me up on the site. He's like, "Hey man, I know you're gonna be interested in this. Why don't you take a look at it?" I looked at it. I was like, "Oh, all right." You know, I think it was like some weird number, something like $9.83 per slot, and he had like 40 slots or something like that, right? I put my name. Oh, whatever. Here's my $10. You know, cross my fingers, whatever. You know, didn't think nothing of it. Completely forgot about it. And then, like on the side, someone hits me up, some random person. I almost deleted the message because, like, I don't know who you are, man. Stop talking to me. Until I saw win. I'm like, what? Hold on, what's this? And so I opened it up. He's like, "Hey man, congratulations! You were part of this waffle. You ended up winning. You know, here's the video of us choosing the names." I was like, "Oh, how much do I owe you?" He's like, "You already paid, man. It was only $10." I'm like, $10? So I ended up getting this $200 figure for $10.
Sweet.
That's
right
always
here.
nice.
That is nice. I love that.
And then this is another. And then this is another version, right here.
Nice.
Now I keep forgetting what the name of these third-party Transformers are. They have like different name, like some like Starlight Commander and things like that. They can't use the name Optimus Prime, right, because of trademark.
Right.
But he's built like Optimus. Now the crazy thing is, this one is heavier than this one. This one feels like it has a little more metal to it, and this was a whole lot lighter. But this one they created because they're going to release an Ultra Magnus trailer for this one eventually.
Sweet.
And I ended up buying this for like $100 right here, in preparation of, because when Ultra Magnus comes out in full gear, it's probably gonna be like $250, maybe even $300. I'm like, no, let me just get this now. So I got that right there. But I'm gonna show you guys something here. I've shown this before. Everyone has a grail, right? Everyone's got a grail. Everyone's got.
Hold on, before you finish, you have a little fan here. I literally write and ask Eman before every Transformer purchase. He's my Transformer sensei.
Thanks, Tate Prime.
Thanks, Tate. I know once in a while Tate would just send me like videos and stuff on Instagram. I'm like, oh shit, that's dope. That's actually pretty sick. But yeah, like I was saying, like everyone's got their grail. Everyone's looking for a grail. Everyone's looking for that one purchase, that one book, that one signed Stan Lee book or whatever and whatnot. And my grail isn't a comic. You know, we're on Transformers. I got my grail. I got my grail. Like I can die happy as a happy collector. Let me show you guys what I got.
I know what it is.
Just in case you guys don't know, Optimus Prime is my guy. So I have a G1 Optimus Prime
in the box.
Signed by Peter Cullen.
Wow.
Holy smokes. Nice.
Is it on the box? Yeah, it's on the box. Do I care? No, I don't care. Did he sign? Why didn't he sign the trailer? I don't care.
So you're not going to open that?
It's been open.
You're not opening that?
It's been open.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. This is an old toy. I ended up buying this from like eBay.
So it has all the accessories. All the accessories are there and everything.
All of them are in there. But the fact that the hero, my hero, signed it, the fact that he was so nice and so kind and like everything to
That
me like what Optimus was. It was just like
that
the
is
best
grail
feeling.
worthy. That is grail worthy for sure. Awesome,
So
dude.
I got my grail. Everyone's gonna be
Yeah.
hunting the grail. A lot of people. I got mine. Now here's a funny story that I have about Peter Cullen though. So I went to Toy Expo in Las Vegas in 2020, and my girlfriend was like, "Are you gonna shake Peter Cullen's hand?" I'm like, "Yes, I'm gonna shake his hand." She's like, "What if you kill him because of COVID?" I was like, "I hate you so much. I hate you so much." And she put that in my head. So when I got to the con, there was like sanitizer everywhere. Just make sure you sanitize and sanitize this, sanitize that, da 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 da. Right. And I was like in the special VIP area, and they're like, "All right, so go ahead and meet them. Whatever. Don't touch them. Don't hug them. Don't do anything," because they were trying to protect them from COVID.
Yeah.
Right. I'm like, yeah. So I was my turn to take a picture with.
Oh.
So I took a picture with both Peter and Frank, and both of them together, and I have them around here somewhere. But like it was my turn to meet Peter Cullen. My heart was thumping, and he's a little dude. Like they say he's 5'8". No, dude, he's like 5'5". He's a little guy, and he's like, "Hey man, nice to meet you." And I looked at his head. I was like, "I don't want to kill you. How about an elbow bump? Would that work?" He's like, "Oh yeah." So we elbow bump each other, and I was like, "Dude, you're my hero. Like you voiced my hero. Like I love Optimus Prime. What you did to him is just absolutely amazing." And he's like, "Thank you so much." He totally appreciated everything. And then when we took our picture together, like I was just like hands out like this, right? I was like, "I don't want to touch him because I don't want to pass COVID over to him." And then he comes over and just like right on my shoulder. I'm like, "Oh my God, Peter Cullen's touching me."
You're
And I did the
totally
same.
fangirling.
I was like with Frank Walker. I was like, "Dude, you're my hero's nemesis. I absolutely love you." Elbow bumped him too, and then him too. He got close, and I was like, "Hey, just doing this little pose." He's like, "Oh, okay." He's just kind of like stood off to the side, and then I took a picture with both of them, and Peter was like, "I remember you." I was like, "I remember you too, guy." And so we took a picture, and then me and Peter were kind of like back to back. And I was kind of doing the same pose, but Frank also went full on prom mode, and he straight up did this thing. He was just like right on my shoulder. Right? Yes.
Nice.
So what's this question mean?
Do you have the Hot Toys prom? I don't. I love Hot Toys. Hot Toys is another third-party brand.
But expensive as shit, though.
Yeah. They get expensive because they're limited print. They can only make so much before a cease and desist happens, right? So they're just trying to make them, build them, and send them out. And Hot Toys is like a really good third-party Transformer line. And there's a whole lot of that. But no, I don't have any of the Hot Toys ones. I do have some Furry Flame Toys models, but I don't know where they're at right now. But yeah, there's a whole lot. Like earlier, I talked about the Predaking. I think Predaking's a Hot Toys one, and I want that one. There's like an all gold Predaking that I really, really want to hear. It's like metal too, so like each piece is like $300.
Sweet.
That one's crazy.
So what's this question mean? Is that Revolt Tech?
Is that a real tech? I don't know what that is, Lipway. I'm not too sure. I don't have anything with that label though.
Yeah, Revoltech is I think a Japanese toy brand where they just kind of license these kinds of like Star Wars, Marvel, and Transformers, and they build their own versions of the figures.
Gotcha. No, none of that. And it's hard. See, for me, it's hard to purchase anything other than Optimus, RC. I want Unicron, and I want that Predaking. But other than that, like as much as I love the toy line, as much as I love the cartoons, I don't want to get like all the third parties that were in the Transformer movie, even though they look really dope. They look, cartoon accurate and whatnot. I would rather get like another version of another Optimus. I want to.
Hey, what is that? Did you say something about? Did you say something about you're going to mention the third-party purchase you made at the beginning of the show?
Yeah, that was these. That was these right here. These were some of the purchases right here.
Okay.
I ended up winning another waffle recently, and it's another RC toy, so that one's in the way. I'm gonna unbox that as soon as I get.
Is that why Tay say you shouldn't enter a contest?
I shouldn't. I got lucky with these. I got super lucky with these. Of course, the people have seen this. I have both the John Jang's Optimus Prime signed by John Jang.
Oh man,
Oh,
So I have this
wow.
one.
that is dope.
Hey, by the way, John Jang's has confirmed the meeting with us,
Yeah.
interview with us. So be
I
there,
don't know
guys.
if anyone's seen this one right here. Going back to Jetfire, I have Avoid Rivals #1 blank, right?
Yep.
But then,
You
I
showed
have
me
a sketch from Steven Segovia,
Mm-hmm.
sketch from Alan Wong,
Mhm.
or Alan Wong. Oh my God, what's Alan? You guys know Alan. How did I forget his name? Shit. I got a sketch here from who is this? Shit, I forgot who that was. Steven
Just-
Segovia, Alan. Well, anyways, on the back, this is the back right here, and then this is
Yeah.
Dan Quintana. This is John Romita Jr. This is John Boy Myers. And then up here, this is the recent one. That's Rose Besh right there.
Nice.
So
That is awesome, dude.
yeah, see, I collect. I feel like I collect differently. Sometimes I feel like I can't be in the conversations with some of the other guys who are just nerding out about gold and silver age Marvel. But at the same time, I'm like, I got my fandom too.
What you should do is Gary had 1011. You got everybody knows Gary, right? Everybody knows Gary.
Yep.
Gary B, yeah.
Gary B, Gary comic guy.
Average the comic guy.
Yeah, but he had a 1011 where this, I think his name was Milt, and he showed games. Those the old games from back in 1930s, 1940s and stuff.
Wow.
And then he showed comic books that relate to it.
Oh,
that's
nice.
so dope.
That is.
So what you should, board games. That's right, board games. K-pop said it right there. But that's what you should do is show you one of your toys with the then show the comic book that's related to it.
The funny thing is, I've been on that show with Gary. He's asked me to come on, so there is a show with me showing a lot of these off right there.
Okay, well, we missed you.
I have some of the newer stuff right here, right? But yeah. Gary B was kind enough to invite me, and it was really cool. That was a really fun show too.
Yeah.
Now I know you you hit up a lot of cons. Talk about so everybody has their there's a little bit of everything for everybody at a typical con, right? Cosplay, meeting artists, creators, just buying comic books. So for you, when you hit the cons, what are you kind of looking to? What attracts you to a con specifically?
For me, it's the artists. It's I check to see who's going to be there. Can I get their autograph? Can I get a signature? So for me, it's the artists, and to be able to interview them, right? To try to get them on the C-list villains, because I kind of reserved that show right there for a group interview.
Yeah.
Because it's fun when you have a lot of people in there and have a good time, and try to get them interviewed. So for me, it's the artists, to try to get them on our show and to collect autographs, and then secondary is bin hunting, right? Going through the bins and looking for comics. But rarely do I see any of the independent books unless they're slabbed and they're already forking up top dollar for them, and I'm just I can't do that. But I wouldn't mind getting them signed and then submitted for CGC there at the cons.
Yeah.
But once in a while, right, I'll dig through some books to see if they do have any, and some of the shops would bring some of their independent books, and I would dig through those to see what I'm missing. I'm thinking about restarting my Spawn collection. I know that's going to get expensive, but I want to be able to at least start and collect 1 through 100, and I have 1 through 30, 1 through 40. Missing some in between, but I want to try to get complete a 100. 1 through 100 Spawn. And I know the mid 200s with John Boy, those are really hard and really expensive because they were just super rare. But I want to see John Boy's art in my hand. So eventually I'm going to get into that right there. I want to add Something's Killing the Children #1. I want to add Edge of Spider-Verse #2, because I really enjoy Gwen. I really do. I have almost all of her single stories.
You should have told me that earlier because I traded that, and then my 4.5 Vampy for that 7.0 back
Show it
there.
again. Show it
Oh
again.
man.
Oh, you got one?
Let's see.
Yeah, I traded that Spider Gwen for this.
Oh, for the Vampy. Okay.
Yeah, Vampy 7.0. Well, if I
Oh
can get to it.
man.
Yeah, Jeff, show off your Vampy.
Yeah, let's see that thing.
Of course.
Bring that on, Jeff. I want to see that sexy vampy boy.
Hold on, let me get. Hold on.
Yeah, don't
Yeah,
Don't
I know.
break it. Don't break it, man. Don't break it.
I'm not breaking nothing.
Be careful.
Yep. So I got this, the Vampy one with the Spider Gwen, and the Spider Gwen I won in the contest.
Oh my
Yeah.
God! You won the Spider Gwen in a contest.
That's not
I won
even
the
a
Spider Gwen in the
close
contest,
trade.
and
That's not even
And
a
then you
close
went for
trade,
that.
man. You got the best. You got the better deal
Spider
out of that
Gwen,
one.
and then Spider Gwen and a 4.5 of this one.
Is that a first print? Is that a first
Yeah.
print?
Wow.
Get out of here.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
See, and you know what? I bet you the person that you traded with, they were probably like, "Let me put this in someone who can appreciate this more than I can," because
Right.
that's what I end up doing too. Like, with the giveaways and with the stuff like that, I have multiples of some books right there. I'm like, you know what? Let me get this one into the hands of someone who can really appreciate it. So,
Right.
and that's probably
And
what he
then
was
we just
thinking.
we just lost the lady that created the outfit, Trina Robbins, this
Yeah.
year. So
Oh, sorry, tear.
yeah, and I wanted
That's
to really meet her
beautiful, though,
too.
Jeff. Man.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah, and then I went to a con, ended up getting this. It's Forrest J. Ackerman, the guy that actually one of the guys that actually created him.
Wow, dude,
And
that's
then it
dope.
has his
Sweet.
signature in the back.
Nice.
I just keep it
Oh
with
man,
the book.
Dude,
personalized photo.
Yeah.
you're straight
Yeah,
flossing right now, man. That's
Well,
floss.
not really, but some of the
But it's
guys
big
have bigger books than I. Yeah,
but
big
it's
book
big
for
to
me.
you,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, exactly. And that's how it is with me and like Peter Cullen, me and the Miranda
Yeah.
brothers, John Jang and John Boy.
Yeah, and then
it's-
like me and Lopan, when I met Lopan, like you, like how you met Peter Collins. Yeah,
that is dope.
I gotta show you guys that one.
Okay.
Eventually.
Okay. If you have ready, let us know.
Yeah. I'll
You're meeting
let
Lopan.
E finish, and then I can show. I'll let E finish.
I want to meet the girl in the green eyes.
Yeah.
So let's get into you kind of touched upon your relationship with Red and the Sea Villains podcast.
Mhm.
Talk about kind of that relationship and what inspired you guys to kind of create the show and sort of the methods to your madness in that
Oh man, you know who I miss? Red. Where's your
where's your partner in crime?
I don't even know.
Where's
I don't
freaking Red?
know.
I mean, where's your tumor? I mean, he's always with you.
Where's my tumor?
We need his
Oh,
humor.
man.
We need his humor.
No,
to-
did I say tumor? I
downboard.
meant humor. I'm sorry.
Oh,
Humor, yes, not tumor. Humor.
Not tumor. Humor.
It's not a tumor. It's not a tumor. So AJ, the host, he's also a friend of ours. Like I've known him since he's a part of that group that I was telling you about earlier. So AJ, Red, and I have been, friends since high school. So AJ, one day he's like, "Hey man, I want to start a podcast, and we're gonna talk nerdy stuff." I'm like, "Yeah, I'm down," because I went to school for radio, right? And I've been on the radio. I was only on the radio for like a month, before I was like, oh wow, this environment's super toxic. Like I can't deal with a lot of these people. They're super cutthroat, and I felt like that was kind of put to waste. And I was like, well, you're asking me to be on a YouTube show to talk about stuff, comic books. I'm gonna take this opportunity. I went to radio school, dude. I'm gonna use that training, one way or another, So I was honored that he asked me. So he's like, yeah, the show's going to be a pop culture show. We're going to talk about, comics. We're going to talk about what we read, like, what are you doing? What are you going to start reading? I was like, well, I just started collecting again. So, I'm mostly reading like some of these, independent books. He's like, yeah, me too. So like our show at the beginning was really mostly talking about more of the independent books and a lot of the books he would recommend to me. And I'm like, yeah, like Seven Secrets, he recommended to me. I'm like, dude, this is fantastic. Daniela Di Nicolo I think he's just one of the best artists out there. And unfortunately, like, I don't see his work as often, but I love his work, and it was because of AJ. Red was like, hey, I know this guy through, through the community, and he sells comics and he's real knowledgeable, and that's Luke. He's like, can we bring him on? And AJ was like, yeah, sure. So, it was just us four. We talked about it at first, and it was legit a podcast. Like, we would record. We didn't have StreamYard then. We didn't know what to do. So we ended up, I found some app to just record audio. I would record the audio, and we would legit put it like on, Spotify, iTunes podcast. And it was just that. And then once people started talking about, Zoom, and then using OBS, and then using all these other apps, that's when we decided to move over to YouTube, which it took us quite a while. But people were like, yeah, man, you guys should be on YouTube, start a YouTube channel and do this. So we talked about it. We put our money together to pay for the StreamYard membership. And, from then on, it was just a weekly show of us just shooting the shit.
Nice.
Lately, it's been more of just a hangout as opposed to what it used to be. But it's still us. It's still our personalities together to talk about, the Week in Geek, to talk about the movies that we watched, to talk about some of the comics we've read and things that we picked up, and mail calls and whatnot. So, just like a lot of other people who have shows like that, this is four nuts getting together, doing the same thing and having a good time together, and then kind of using it as a therapy session. You're just like, I had a shitty week. Let's talk nerdy stuff. Come on, let's
Right.
and it's so fun. It's so fun to just.
Hey, recognize one of your voter, Joe.
So sexy. So sexy, just for you, Joe. Roar. For CJ, oh my. And then manipulating my voice, like growing up, I used to be able to do certain voices. Like I used to love doing Marvin the Martian, I used to love doing Dr. Evil and just doing the monologues and stuff like that. And picking up on Bane. And I just loved doing voices, and that's why I picked up like a really good microphone, because I was like, I need something to make me sound better than I do and have some fun with it. So, I picked up this mic, recently started just having fun with just being on YouTube, just doing the things that I used to do and had fun doing it, just putting it out there, just making a fool out of myself. But,
Be right back, guys.
Smile. Okay. To make people smile, to have a good time. I know I'm not the most talented out there. I know I'm a goofball. And if I can make one person smile, one person giggle, I feel like I've accomplished something that week, because we all live lives and it sucks sometimes. And sometimes you need that escape. And if I could be that one person to help you forget about, a problem, even for like 5 seconds, man, it's all in good fun and it's worth it. And I'm glad that I made someone smile at least.
No, I mean, it's such a great time just hanging out with you and talking, and again, you have such a great presentation. It's really inspiring for a lot of creators, I'm sure. So yeah, thank you. Thank you for doing what you do.
Oh, I appreciate it, Otaku. Thank you guys very much. I really, really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Michael, I had them all, plus all the doubles. We can't figure out what happened to them. Rainbow Bright and Strawberry.
We're talking toys.
Awesome.
Jeff, what toys did you have growing up?
Toys, the same thing like E. Transformers. I grew up on Ninja Turtles, the Transformers, Big Trouble Little China, because first movie I ever saw had Asian people in it. It had Eman,
Right.
So I'm like, oh, I really like this movie. So I grew up on that. Like toy wise, it was pretty much like everybody else, like Ninja Turtles, comic books. I had the Cantonese comic books for like the Chinese comic books, like the manhwas first, and then when I got into school, Superman, Batman, and all that stuff, and then Vampy came in high school. I think that's what all my boys in high school say. You were talking about her way before. I didn't even know it, so I was talking about her way before. Never thought I would have got a Vampy one at all. So that's one. Never thought I would get a whole Warren run, the whole magazine run at all. So
that's crazy. Like I just still can't believe so you traded A first appearance, Gwen Stacy. Probably Heidi
no,
Ray,
no,
right?
first appearance, Spider Gwen.
Spider-Man.
The one
Yeah,
E
yeah,
wanted,
you're
the
right.
one E wanted.
Yeah.
The first Spider Gwen and then a
Spider-Gwen.
4-5 Vampy for this 7-0.
Oh, and a 4-5 Vampy.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So you gave up
But I
a
still came
lower
out on
grade
top
Vampy.
though. But I
You
still came out on top though
Yeah.
because if you look at the price of this 7-0,
Yeah.
I came out.
That's solid right there.
insane.
I've never done any. I've never done any trades. So like growing up, even like trading comic books and trading sports cards and whatnot. I've always felt like I feel like I'm gonna get jacked on the deal. I better just hold on to everything. I just don't know what the value is of some of these. I'm just someone might. I'm pretty sure someone was like
you said at the time COVID was happening, everything shot up. So Spider-Gwen, right when Spider-Gwen had shot up to about the same price as this thing was, I went, let me go because I don't got nothing in it. Like I won it in a contest. I got nothing in it. I went trade that and trade that. I go, if I trade this 4-5, everybody said it was a bad deal. And then now looking back at it, I had a feeling something was gonna happen. So it wasn't really a bad deal.
Now, okay. If someone is willing to trade a Spider-Verse, the Edge of Spider-Verse 2 and Something Is Killing the Children #1 for one of my Miko waves, I might actually do that. It'll be worth it to me. I have another one, so I'm cool. But if I can land and
Actually,
get,
let me look. I think I got Something's Killing the Children somewhere in one of these boxes somewhere.
It's like a whole big deal. I want to get some of that right there. Yeah, I got two, and I'm willing to let one of them go for that right there.
I got one of those. Yeah, because my boy at the shop goes, "Hey, you might want to pick up 2 copies of this Something's Killing the Children. It's gonna hit. It's gonna hit." I go,
Yeah.
Okay, because the one time I didn't listen to him, and that was the Spider-Gwen one, first the Spider-Gwens. I didn't listen, but I entered a contest and ended up winning a 9.8 graded copy of Spider-Gwen. So I went,
that is super dope.
What is Something Is Killing the Children? What #1 going for?
Like
500.
Last time I looked was last
time I
looked it was like
$500 for Something Is Killing the Children.
Number
one.
Yeah.
First print.
The first print.
Yeah.
Wow, I got that by accident. Okay. Wow.
Yeah, and
See,
with the whole with the whole James Tynion, starting Tiny Onion production, and him owning all these really great books, seeing Something Is Killing the Children come on Netflix and it's already 36 issues in, I'm pretty sure they have enough to work with to be able to create a couple of seasons of that right there, because like that book is phenomenal. I absolutely love Something's Killing the Children. Personally, if we're going to fan cast anything, I would love to see Anya Taylor-Joy play Erica Slaughter. I think that would be amazing to see her do that.
Okay, I see it. I definitely see it. Yeah.
That would be super amazing.
Yeah.
And then here's the thing too with James Tynion. I absolutely love his book Wind. It's about this kid who's it goes into identity. Like he has this identity that he needs to hide. Don't tell anyone you're this, but he ends up being like the one, right? He ends up being the hero. He's the one that they need to rely on. And I just love how his storytelling went with that book, and to see and hopefully, cross my fingers to see that as an animated show. Now that would be phenomenal to me also.
Yeah. No, that I think we're all hoping for more comic book content to the big screen.
More than the big 2.
I'm going to interrupt. News. The Jackson Roy Kirk will be nice to me today. Thank you, Jackson Roy Kirk.
You get everything by accident right there. I feel bad. I wasn't answering any of the questions from the chat. I was just talking away. I apologize.
No, we're just vibing.
Nerves.
Oh yeah, okay. Good.
I know we got into like there was like a Smurfs conversation, how Snorks was just a straight up copy of or Snorks was a straight up copy of Smurfs, and it was pretty funny. It's like, yeah,
Yeah, we gotta
a lot of
watch
80s
the.
cartoons.
We gotta watch that in the backstage with Ryan.
All right. Well, Eman, thank you so much for going through your backstory, sharing your collection. I had a great time, and again, this year, 2024, AAPI Heritage Month, having you as part of this, sort of
Merry Bands of
month of
Misfits.
celebration. Yeah, Merry Band of Misfits has been such a joy. So yeah, thank you. I want to thank all the panel members here.
Mm.
It's just been so memorable. So I know moving forward, it's just going to continue to build and build. So I'm just looking forward to staying connected with all of you and doing this every year.
Yeah, I really appreciate you guys, Jeff, Eman, K-pop, even the Tumor Red, and who else? Am I forgetting someone?
Ryan
I'm
Nagawa.
forgetting someone.
Ryan.
Simon hung out with us last night.
Simon.
Yeah,
Simon.
Simon, and
Even though he's
and
Australian.
and Slip, even though he's Australian, but his country does begin with the word A, so it still fits AAPI, Asian American, Asian Australian. It sort of fits, so it's all right. I mean,
we'll give we got to give him because Australians don't have an AAPI Heritage Month.
Yeah,
so
no.
we got to throw him our lifeline.
We got to throw him a bone at least.
Right.
I think he missed the opportunity because I watched it last night. On the way back, I watched that show, and it was supposed to be Slim, and Simon showed up. And I think there was a missed opportunity with him naming himself. I think he should have gone with SimpleSimon. I think that would have been amazing. I was like, no, Simon, you should call yourself Simple.
No, I did not forget you, K-pop. I did not forget you. I was going to say
of course, K-pop. Katie
no,
pretends,
she's my Korean sister.
Yeah.
Katie pretends to be white. She's not really white.
She's not. She's not even.
She's like, she's half Korean and half white.
She cannot even be labeled token white person or token female person in our chat.
Come out already. Come out. Just reveal your truth.
And Katie's phenomenal when she hosts too. Mm-hmm. She has such a good time with her guests, and she knows how to work the chat a lot better than I did today. But she works the chat so good.
I know you, man. You want to give me a hard time on it, but okay.
No, man, you did a phenomenal job.
You did great drinking beer tonight. You did a great job drinking the beer.
Yeah,
you know what, man, right there. Cheers,
cheers,
cheers.
Okay, let's go around I know that all of you are focused on AAPI in this chat, but just in case you are doing something else, Otaku Hyung, let's go with you first. You have anything coming up? Otaku Hyung, you say, I got nothing coming up, and then you make a live stream right after about 10 minutes later.
I don't, I don't like
you
try
don't plan
to promote my stuff, but this month we've got some great comic book creators coming on our streams. We just mentioned John Jiang, who just said, hey, I think he's going to be on the 21st. It's not confirmed yet, but that's kind of the date we're hitting. We've got Pornsec Bishotia coming on next Friday on the 17th in the morning. It's a morning stream, but you can catch it on the rewind. Definitely tune in.
I know I can make it because since it's a daytime, I can always jump on.
Awesome.
And
you've read it. And you've read the book, so that's great.
Yeah. I read both also, actually.
Yeah.
It's a new one too.
Have you read the new one? The Man's Best? Okay, cool.
Otaku, king of stealth live shows.
And then we have Bernard Chang, legendary artist Bernard Chang, creator of Monkey Prince, coming at the end of the month on the 29th, right, Hyung? 29th?
Oh god.
Yeah, I think
of course I don't have my
So again, we're gonna have a lot of people from the collecting community that we're going to connect with, a lot of more artists and creators. So it's going to be a fun month. This has really been the best, I think, the best time we've ever had doing this. AAPI
Yeah, because it started off with just you guys, you two, and then I jumped in, and then this year E jumped in, Katie jumped in, everybody started jumping in. So
yeah, and we've had a lot more engagement. We've had a lot,
Right.
artists. We
Right.
pretty much have more artists than we've ever had. So it's been
Right.
really, really, really great. So thank you,
And,
everybody.
I'm really open to, just expanding and just including more. I'm an inclusive kind of guy. So
Yeah.
Jeff, let's see
We're
what
just
you.
trying to- yeah, we just
Oh,
included
and
all-
we want to
Yeah.
mention, so whenever you come on live streams for the AAPI Comic Book Community Heritage Month, we are going to, if you chat with us or engage with us, we're going to take your name down and we're going to enter you into the final drawing for giveaways on the 31st of this month, the last day in May. Okay.
Yeah, there'll be giveaways from the artist.
Yeah.
Giveaway from the
And
artist.
Young, I think you wanted me to write down all the names, right?
K-pop is doing that right now.
Oh, K-pop's doing that.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
perfect. 'Cause
Katie's
I didn't
doing
do
it.
it. I didn't do
Yeah,
any of
Katie's
that. so-
doing it. Yeah,
Yeah.
Katie's better
Watch
at
Katie.
it than us.
Watch Katie hit us up. I am. Wait, what?
No, K-pop is the one who's telling me, no, I'm doing this, okay? And you forgot to tell me I'm doing this.
Yeah. What would
No.
we do without her?
Yeah, without Katie.
Yeah, so now, Jeff, you were saying? What were you saying?
Yeah, so I got a couple things coming, but I'm still working on it since I just got the new laptop back, and I found a new feature on it where I can actually do some better stuff. So you're gonna see more stuff coming out from me, and then I actually grabbed low pan for you guys, so to show you guys.
Oh, let's
So,
see.
yeah.
That's so sick.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, here's the pop. Yeah, there's the pop, the glow in the dark. It actually glows in the dark.
No pen. All right.
Sweet.
Cool.
Yeah, it actually glows in the dark, and then
That is so
the
sick.
picture with the man.
James Hong,
So-
yeah.
Oh!
I saw that and I was just like, dude, you're the man.
That is
Yeah.
so
You're
sick,
the
Jeff.
man.
Yeah, dude, I paid a lot. I paid a bunch because just like E probably did to have him sign a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then this
Oh,
one's
yeah.
even cooler.
Wow.
Oh.
Man, Jack.
Sweet.
Where's
Yeah.
old Jack Burton? We need Jack Burton in here. You know?
Yeah, so James Han signed it
Yeah.
here, and then he signed his name in Cantonese here.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, but it says on the slab, it says signed by James Han and Lo Pan.
Oh, sweet.
Good job, CGP.
So
You never sent that back and be like, no, it's James Han
No,
as.
no,
That's a
because,
101. That's a 101.
No, because the witness would actually did
Costume.
something cool for me. Actually, no, he actually wrote on the paper saying signed by James Han and Lo Pan.
Oh,
so-
nice.
So it says it on the slab.
You're like, I'm not correcting this whatsoever.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
J-
No, that
Jim, you still doing the Saturday hang with the G-Man?
Yeah, it's just
Yeah.
he's on a little bit of a break,
Okay.
but yeah, we're still doing it.
G-Man has a new life coming into, so G-Man's gonna be really busy. So
Yeah,
we understand.
I need a.
yeah, we understand.
What
wait,
I
go back
what
to,
I need.
go back to Jackson Roy Kurt for a minute. Go back to Jackson Roy Kurt for a minute because he brings up a great point. Oh no, can we expect a 5-hour series of Doug races?
that job
Jackson,
market
I'm
is-
feeling you right now. I'm feeling you. I don't want to do 5 hours of duck races.
Okay,
so
okay.
We gotta come up with something.
I'm a freaking fan of duck races, but my partner Otaku Young don't like duck races, so that's why I'm not having this duck
We'll
races.
draw
right now.
horses next time. We'll
It's
draw horses
torture.
for
It's
Otaku.
torture.
you know what? Next time, just do 20 seconds worth instead of like 36.
Yeah, well, but freaking May 31st, Jackson, we're gonna have a duck race galore. Okay.
We should have like one super how many can you add to a duck race? What's the limit? Is it like
1,000.
1,000?
Yeah.
We
Oh,
should have.
Jesus.
We should do the world's record. aim for the world's record of duck races. Obviously, you don't have 1,000 people in the chat, but
imagine if we put a
if we put the call out there, I'm sure like people.
Okay,
are,
so
But you know what?
the-
though, but you guys got to make it saucy. It's got to be a 1 minute winner takes all duck race. You can't be 30 seconds. You can't be 20. You can't be 14. 1 minute
full-
duck
of a
race. Now
full
that would be
minute.
I mean,
madness.
K-pop says, I hope so, Jackson. So yeah, I mean,
I can see Otaku during that 1 minute duck race just like passing out.
you need a beer, Otaku. Yeah, you need a beer.
Or we just put names.
More than a
All of us
beer.
put names in a hat and just toss the hat up in the air. Whatever name falls out of it.
What about
No,
you,
no.
Nama? Do you have anything coming up?
This is all I'm doing, man. This is I'm occasionally okay. I'm really pissed. Okay, I'm really pissed. Can I rant a little bit?
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, let me rant a little bit here. So I make this video of Eman, you know, the flipping of hair and all that stuff, and I'm giggling here. I'm just giggling like a little girl. I'm going, oh man, this is gonna be so funny. It's gonna go viral, and it's gonna just hit everybody, and everybody's gonna just laugh. And I made this video up, and Gary gets on, and he talks about how K-pop is this and that and that, and he wrote me a freaking whole paragraph. And
Yeah, I saw it. Trust me.
there's nothing mentioned of how funny my video is. Everybody's mentioning something else. I'm going, gosh, nobody gets it. Nobody gets my joke.
NammaN, it was 1 o'clock in the morning over here when you sent me that, and I showed that to my girlfriend, and she started laughing just before we went to sleep. She's like, "This is great." She's like, "You sent him all those videos?" I'm like, "Yeah." I was like, "Just go to town." She's like, "This is amazing." She started just laughing. It was great.
Anyway, so I value all. I mean, we have fantastic lineup. Let me name some people that maybe Otaku Young has failed to mention. I mean, not fail. I mean, not mention. Of course, Lipe. Appreciate you, Lipway, for confirming that I'm pronouncing your name right. Lipway is going to be here.
Yep.
Lipway, yeah. Ivan Tao is going to be here.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
Alexandra, I cannot pronounce her last name. She was here she was on our last show.
Alex.
She's from Canada. She's fantastic, upcoming artist, and I want to. I'm really appreciate that she's coming on to our show. Mark, okay, you have to help me with this one.
Mark
email.
Teodosio.
Mark Teodosio is going to be here.
Yeah.
Well, like E told you, watch the videos and try because that's how I learned the other one's name. I watched the video to learn it.
Porn tag picture. That's how he said it.
Yeah.
Alan Wu is going to be here. Bernard Chang, of course. I think Otaku mentioned him. Sean Chan will be here. Oh, and Eric Yamamoto. Oh boy, this is
Eric
not
Yamamoto.
Yeah, Eric Yamamoto.
Storyboard artist for I think Wait, what? Was it Universal? Paramount?
Ryan, are you there? Ryan? Are you here?
It's for one of the major studios.
Yeah. So I'm really excited about him, and Ryan's going to lead that one, and then Eric Yamamoto is 8 p.m. K-pop is typing this for me as I'm saying it, guys. Thanks, K-pop.
Well, let me help you out, NammaN. Hold on, let me help you out. Let me here.
Okay, look, I'm fully aware that I'm not a professional. I'm not a professional streamer, but and I'm open to showing my awkwardness and making mistakes. this is not a professional stream, guys. Okay.
Yeah, that's why we love you.
This is a
just four friends
all-
getting
it's
together
all
and
for
just
good
We
times.
love
bullshitting.
you.
It's all in good fun.
It's the worm. This is the worm.
yeah.
So anyway, so this is the lineup. We have fantastic lineup. Thanks to Jeff, thanks to Eman, thanks to of course my partner Otaku Young, and of course K-pop, and then the Red and Ryan Odegawa, who's really getting involved this year.
Yeah.
I mean,
we're proud of you.
this
You
is
remember Ryan this time.
I didn't forget my friend Ryan. The first guy who did the meet the artist show. So, and I have known him before that. So, and I didn't realize as I knew him for about years that I didn't know he was such a prominent artist until I did the show, and so that was a really surprise for me. But now this has been fantastic. So you guys watch out. And K-pop says, remember, May 31st, we're going to have a huge party. It's going to be 5-6 hour stream, maybe longer. I don't know. And our co-host going to come in and out, and we're going to give away. We're going to have a duck races, okay?
Some duck races, some fireworks, and a little bit of everything.
I think
like, oh, for the love of God, don't.
We're gonna have live duck races.
Yeah, Flippy said something about having, let's have a worm race, I think. Let me see if I could highlight that.
Oh, yeah. It'd be kind of cool if we could actually do worms go with
worm race.
Worm races. That's better.
And we just crawl. We're not gonna go fast. We're just gonna crawl through.
Eman, what do you got coming up?
So every Tuesday, I'm on with the C-List Villains podcast at 8 p.m. Pacific, 11 p.m. Eastern on our channel, the C-List Villains podcast. On the 19th, I'm going to be leading the interview with Mark Teodosio, who has his own creator-owned comic called The Realist Biani. That same night on the 19th on C-List Sundays, because sometimes I host C-List Sundays with Red and Mike. And we're going to have a jam session. And on that night, we're going to have co-host Don Aguilio and a possible couple of other special co-hosts that night. Where we talk, the Weekend Geek.
Nice.
And my channel, Eman's World of Geek, I do my unboxings, my new comic book day, my con visits. And I have something coming up later on this month. So keep an eye out on that. I haven't really truly announced it yet, but I've been kind of like sending off some sneak peeks, hey, keep an eye out on May 25th, because I have a little something that I'm going to try to finally do after 3 years of doing this with the team. I'm trying to do something else. So keep an eye out on that. We have some interviews on our own on the C-List Villains podcast coming up, not just with some big artists, but we have some local artists, some indie artists coming up sharing their Kickstarters and whatnot. So make sure to follow us on the C-List Villains podcast, and then also make sure to follow me on Eman's World of Geek on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. YouTube. Yeah.
Okay, I just want to say this. Eman remind me, those artists that we have featured on our channel, Meet the Artist channel. I'm totally open to giving them more exposure, because this channel was developed. This stream was developed for supporting the artists and giving them exposure. So I'm totally into, hey, you should go to In Between the Lines. Hey, you should go to Gary B, Casual Comic Guy. You should go to K-pop for her, the GoFundMe, Kickstarter type of. So I'm totally about, me and Otaku Young, we are totally about exposing the artists, because that's what we appreciate as a comic book comic book collector and a fan of these artists. So we're so welcome to, you're not poaching from us. we wanna give these artists a exposure, and if we
Definitely.
could do that in small way, I think that's our small way of supporting the artists. Okay,
Yeah,
so
that's when I first
Exactly.
hop on with you guys. That's what I wanted to do too. Anyways, to help out. You know what I mean? Like if we do this every year and then it grows, of more, like I said, more of our merry band of misfits.
Yep.
Why not? You know what I mean? So
This really. So when Hyung and I were, I didn't know Hyung until I
right,
started connecting with people through the comic book community, right?
right.
And Hyung and I think, I know there are some more Koreans that we've met since, but we're really only two of the only Korean
Yeah.
American collectors that I know of. And we
Right.
immediately connected and became buddies. And then we started kind of like, let's do this, let's do that. And then this thing
Yeah.
evolved. But the whole point of this was to highlight
hmm
the Asian American community. It's a large presence in comic books. I'm not
Right.
just talking from the creative side. I'm talking about people who are into Spider-Man, who are into Something Is Killing the Children, people who are into like reading books and geeking out on like nerd culture. And I just feel like, people do it kind of in the shadows maybe because that's kind of what
Right.
our hobby has been about. But what we do in the community is to like, this is a safe space. We can talk
Right.
about what we want. We can be ourselves. And that was really the motivation to connect with Eman, to connect with Jeff, to connect with people
Right.
like us
Right.
and celebrate us. And, so a community within a community is kind of
Right.
like
Yeah.
the way I looked at it.
all right, we're gonna end the stream now. Chat, I really appreciate you for coming by, whether you're from K-pop channel, Eman's channel, Jeff's channel, Otaku's
Right.
channel, my channel, and I think K-pop has her
Yeah.
what's that, the X, not X,
Not the triple X.
Twitter.
Twitter.
Yeah,
One
you
X.
guys are welcome here. You guys are welcome here, Twitter guys, and so appreciate you all the eyes on us and our guest Eman today. We're gonna go to back room. Thanks for being here. K-pop stay so she can bring her friends over, and so you guys please stay if you can. You have time. So we're gonna go. Say bye. Thanks, guys.
See you later.
Bye.
Thanks, guys.
I
Peace
gotta
out.
click 2 buttons for
Peace
me
out.
to end the stream here. So end stream.